John held the money tightly in his hand, but his heart beat like a drum. It was more money than he had ever seen in his life. He should have been happy. But deep inside, he felt something else: shame. Because to get that money, he had betrayed his own brother, Peter. John and Peter grew up together in a small town. Their parents had died when they were young, so they only had each other. Peter was the older one. He was hardworking, calm, and honest. He sold spare parts at the market and made just enough money to feed them both. John was different. He hated struggle. He wanted quick money, big money. He hated the long days at the market. He wanted a fast life with new clothes and respect. Still, Peter never gave up on him. "One day you will understand," Peter often told him. But John didn't want to understand. He wanted wealth. One evening, John met some men at a bar. They were flashy, driving big cars, wearing gold chains. One of them leaned close and whispered, "We can give you money. Easy money. But you have to help us. We need someone we can trust." "What do you mean?" John asked, nervous but curious. The man smiled. "Your brother has spare parts at his shop, right? Very valuable ones. Help us take them. We'll pay you well." No one will know. John froze. Betray Peter? His own brother? For a moment, he wanted to say no. But then he saw the thick bundle of cash the man pulled from his pocket. His heart burned with desire. He nodded slowly. That night, John sneaked into Peter's shop with the men. His hands shook as he unlocked the door. He knew Peter trusted him with the key. The men grabbed everything: engines, batteries, spare parts. They laughed while loading the van. John stood there, silent, shame crawling up his skin. By morning, the shop was empty. When Peter arrived, he dropped to his knees. His whole life's work was gone. He held his head in his hands. "Why God? Why me?" Peter cried. John stood behind him, pretending to be shocked. He placed a hand on his brother's shoulder, but inside he felt hollow. That evening, the men gave John his share of the money, more than he had ever touched. He stuffed it into his pocket, trying not to think of Peter's broken face. At first, John enjoyed the money. He bought new clothes, shoes, and partied every night. He felt powerful. People respected him because he looked rich. But money earned through betrayal never lasts. The flashy men who gave him the money soon disappeared. When the police started investigating the stolen goods, John realized he had been used. The men had left town, but the police had a witness who saw John with them that night. Within weeks, John was arrested. The prison cell was dark and cold. John sat on the floor thinking about Peter. The food tasted like ashes. The money was gone. The men were gone. All that was left was shame. One afternoon, Peter came to visit. He stood behind the iron bars, looking at his younger brother. "Why, John?" Peter asked quietly. "We had little, but we had each other. Why did you choose money over me?" John couldn't look at him. His eyes filled with tears. "I thought it would make life better. I thought it would make us rich." Peter shook his head. "Rich in money, but poor in heart. Now look where it has brought you." John cried like a child. For the first time, he understood what he had done. John served his sentence. By the time he came out, the world had changed. The people who once cheered him for his money now avoided him. He was a man with a stain on his name. Peter, on the other hand, had rebuilt his shop, slowly, painfully, but honestly. He was respected because he was trustworthy. One day, John walked into Peter's shop, head bowed. "I am sorry, brother," he whispered. "I lost everything. I even lost myself." Peter looked at him for a long time. His eyes were sad, but soft. "You are still my brother," Peter said. "But let this be your last lesson. Money can blind a man, but truth and honesty will always outlast it." John nodded. Tears rolled down his cheeks. He knew he would never betray Peter again. In life, trust is more valuable than money. Once broken, it can never be fully repaired. Greed may give quick rewards, but the cost is always heavier in the end. And John learned the hardest way that no treasure on earth is worth the blood of a brother.